Just this past week, last Sunday at Mass, we were blessed to welcome with us a few of our Christian brothers and sisters from the Church of the Lakes. There were some young people that were preparing for their own confirmation ceremony in their church, and they just went to a bunch of different churches to kind of get a feel for how different denominations worship. So they came to our Mass, and afterwards we were talking about, what our Mass is like and what their experience was. And one of the adults asked me, is the Mass the same everywhere? Like, do you have the same order of prayers and the same readings everywhere? And I was very excited. I said, yes, throughout the whole world, actually. We have the same readings everywhere, the same prayers. And now we come to this week, and I immediately make myself a liar because now it's different. So the entire rest of the church throughout the world is celebrating the third Sunday in Ordinary Time. We are celebrating the conversion of St. Paul. Why are we celebrating the conversion of St. Paul? Because, of course, he's our patron, the patron saint of our parish. And so in the church's liturgical rules, right, if it's your patronal feast, then it gets bumped up to a solemnity that's like the highest type of feast, and it's even higher than a Sunday in Ordinary Time. So all bets are off, and we celebrate the patronal feast. So that's what we're doing here today. It's a very important celebration for us as a parish as we remember St. Paul. And the fact that our parish is named St. Paul Parish, that's not just sort of a secondary thing. It's really a very meaningful reality. The idea that we are St. Paul Parish means that St. Paul is our patron, and it means that we've got a special connection to St. Paul, right? The person St. Paul. St. Paul, he's up there in heaven, and he intercedes for us, right? He's got a spiritual connection to our parish. I imagine him looking at his list of all the people he's got to pray for, and, here's St. Paul Parish in North Canton. Okay, I'm going to pray for them today. So St. Paul really has a spiritual connection to our parish, and I like to think that as St. Paul Parish, we get to share in the spirit of St. Paul. We get to share in the spirit of St. Paul. And so if we want to know what our parish is meant to be about, then why don't we look at what St. Paul was all about? Why don't we look at what the spirit of St. Paul was? What was the spirit of St. Paul? How can you encapsulate it? It's just so many things, right? The spirit of St. Paul, that great apostle, it was mercy, it was rigor, it was fire, prayer, freedom, communion, exhortation, instruction, preaching, all of these things. But I think more than anything else, the spirit of St. Paul was Jesus, 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 Jesus. He couldn't talk about anything else, right? Everything that he talked about, everything that he wrote about was about Jesus Christ. Everything he wrote about was about this person that he had encountered. And the reason that he was so possessed by this spirit of Jesus Christ is because he had that radical encounter with this person, Jesus, on the road to Damascus. What we just heard about in the first reading, we've got it depicted in our stained glass window over here, and it's a profound moment, of course, in Paul's life. He described it this way. He said, "As I drew near to Damascus, about noon, a great light from the sky suddenly shone around me. I fell to the ground and heard a voice saying to me, 'Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me?' I replied, 'Who are you, sir?' And he said to me, 'I am Jesus the Nazarene, whom you are persecuting.'" St. Paul had an encounter with Christ that radically transformed his life. It was so powerful that it knocked him down to the ground. It physically blinded him. And for the rest of his life, he was possessed by this unbearable fire within him that told him to go around the known world proclaiming this person, Jesus, that he had risen from the dead. And that's what St. Paul did. We can see all of that. All of our stained glass windows about St. Paul, they show like his whole life. They even show the culmination of his life, his martyrdom, when he was struck down with a sword. He was willing to even give his life for that proclamation of the person of Jesus. St. Paul, he was so possessed by that mission that Christ had given to him. And Christ Jesus, he also has a mission for each one of us. Every person that has been created by God has been given a mission. And that's true not only for individuals, but it's true for us as a parish as well. Our parish has a mission. And we've done our best to sort of articulate that mission in our mission statement that you can find in the bulletin, and it's right there in a big banner at the top of the page, every bulletin. Love, serve, worship, right? Our mission as St. Paul Parish is to love God, to serve God, and to worship God. To love God, serve God, and worship God. And recently, our parish council, we've been working on a pastoral plan, right? We're in this process of pastoral planning. If you remember, about a year ago, we took a survey. It was called the Disciple Maker Index, and it kind of gave us a temperature of how things are going at St. Paul and how are we doing with our mission, with our spiritual purpose, with our pastoral purpose. And all of that information was really great information. We gathered it together, and now as a parish council, we're looking through it, and we're trying to formulate a plan, right? A plan so that we can put into place certain goals so that we can accomplish that mission that God has given to us. You know, think about it this way. We spend a lot of time planning and thinking about finances, about maintenance, about, programming, all these different things that are very important. We've got to spend time thinking and praying with our mission. That's got to be our first priority, right? It's the mission that God has given to us. And so that's what the pastoral plan is supposed to be about. We're thinking about how God is calling us to live in our community, in our families, in our church, and how we can really live that as St. Paul Parish. So we plan to put it together and hopefully be able to publish it on Pentecost. That's after Easter, so you can look for that. And I hope that it's something that we can all look at that goal, sort of that roadmap, and together we can all kind of join in trying to forward that mission that we have as a parish to be able to love God, to serve Him, and to worship Him. So today, as we celebrate our parish, we celebrate St. Paul Parish, and as we also celebrate our thriving Catholic school, St. Paul Catholic School, at the beginning of this Catholic Schools Week, it's a wonderful opportunity for us to invoke St. Paul, his blessing, his intercession, and ask him to teach us, and ask St. Paul to inflame within us that same fire of mission that drove him throughout the world, so that we too can accomplish our mission as a parish.